all silliness can ensue.
Silliness can, yes, for sure. Hi all. This is our, let's call it third. Is it the third meeting of June 2011? Let's try. I should stop recording and start over again. Fall to our third meeting of June 2021. Tonight, Emilio Porras is going to talk to us about the ins and outs of motorcycle insurance. Real quickly, I said to a couple of other people, I put the link in the chat that today is the last day to get early bird pricing for the 2022 convention in Houston. If you'd like to register, do so today for $425. I think tomorrow goes up to $427. I'm just kidding.
Really?
I'm kidding. I don't know what it actually goes up to. So I'm going to actually ring the bell this time because I have it set up. I just always forget. Which I have high hopes for you that you're going to be better.
Maybe, but you don't make it.
I think you will,
Amanda.
I think you'll be better. If anybody happens to be in Michigan or lives there anyway, Rory, there was an invite that went out from the upcoming district governor, Brenda Woo Tipton, to meet her in July at a picnic. That'll be in person. So anybody who's around or wants to go, check your email. You should have gotten something. If you didn't get something from her and you are interested, let one of us know and we'll make sure that you get that information. So I will open it up for any happy bucks, which Scott Nelson should have.
I should. We are very happy that Ben graduated. He was finishing his self-paced online courses in Excelis an hour before rehearsal yesterday. So it definitely came down to the wire, but he's official now.
Congratulations.
I have one too.
Uta.
We get finally the link for the booking from the hotel today, this morning, actually. So Linda will put it in the email later with the recording of the meeting, and then everybody can start to book the room. They are blocked 3 days in front of the convention, during the convention, and 3 days after the convention. For the after time, you have to know that the Hill Country ride, if you want to participate, it's starting at the 10th. So it's 1 day after, so that we have 1 day rest after the convention. And then at the 10th, we're starting in the Hill Country for 3 days. So it's only to know that you know for the convention. So included is the room price, the breakfast. You have a refrigerator inside and a microwave inside. So, and what else? The transportation system is when you're using your badge from the convention, you can use all the transportation, the public transportation system with no extra charging. And also included is a shuttle service that normally goes around 3 miles, but I took it a little bit more wider because when we want to go to the restaurant or whatever, that we're not always staying in the hotel. We can, they have an own restaurant, but when we want to go somewhere else or some groups will build themselves, that's fine too. And the invitation for that is also going to I sent it out to the IFMR Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and I sent it out to the IFMR in France. So they hopefully will come in also in this hotel. So yeah, I hope we will have a lot of fun there. But it's not close to the convention center, I need to say that. And the hotel have no contract with Rotary International.
Hey, Ute.
Yes.
Why wouldn't we share it with all of IFMR?
Yeah, of course we can. I said, Linda,
okay.
Put it on the website. Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 13, 14 chapters around the world now, something like that. So
yeah, I get some questions.
Could be a nice group.
Also, yeah. So yeah, but I was waiting for the booking code, and now you can see when you go on the booking code, you can see the rooms are available. There's also, like when you don't like a king size bed, there's 2 beds inside, so you can share a room also very easily, you know. And what for me was very important, that the hotel is gated, so you don't have to be worried when you come with your bike. Rob, you want to say something?
Yes, I have a sad buck. My father passed away yesterday morning, and
Oh,
he was a Rotarian for over 70 years. Many times we would, I think during my first 10 or 15 years, we would go to Rotary together every Wednesday evening. So he kind of indoctrinated me and brought me up as a Rotarian right from my early years. Um, I had two grandfathers that were also Rotarians. So
wow.
we kind of had this history of the Rotary in our family, but he will be missed. He was 98 years old, and
Wow.
he lived a good life, but he was very problems here lately, both in vision and hearing. So it was
Mhm.
just a quality of life that it was really a blessing to have him pass. But he will be missed.
I'm so sorry for
I
your.
wish we were in person. We could give real hugs.
Yes.
That's an awesome legacy. That I kind of hope, that. So I've got Mike talked into joining. Finally, it only took long enough, and
Yeah.
the kids are very interested in being involved too. And I love that we can pass that down, right?
That's
How many?
awesome.
Yeah, how many in this group are children of Rotarians?
My husband.
It's Rob. Well, good. So we can fix that.
I had an uncle
Two
who
of,
was
two of my
Rotarian.
children have been Rotarians. They're not right now.
We can fix that too.
I need outside help with my two. They still think it's a bunch of old white guys in dark suits.
I'm hoping my son becomes one. Working on it.
Hey, John, the easy solution to what your kids think is have them start their own Rotary Club and let them create the culture that they want.
Mhm.
And then they get to take advantage of all the values and benefits of Rotary.
Sorry
Good
for coming
idea.
on late. Sorry for coming on late, but if this is a repeat, but I have a happy buck. We have selected Jim Dodme to become the president of IFMRNA in 2 years.
Yay.
Congratulations, Jim.
Awesome.
Oh, he's on. He is on. There he is. Hey, Jim.
Jim, you need,
Fantastic.
He's muted.
Jim, if you turn off your camera for a second and then turn it back on, we'll actually see you.
No, Jim's doing the thing. He's got the slidey thing.
Here we
There
go.
we are.
Hey. You're muted still.
The
Here we
graduation
go.
speakers were talking about all the Zoom classes the kids in this last year in high school have been in, and taking classes to this sea of these little black boxes on mute.
Yep.
Actually, one of Maggie's teachers like totally guilt tripped the entire class because he's retiring this year. And on the last day of school, he said, it's my last day and I've never actually seen any of your faces. So just for today, could everybody just turn your cameras on? And I was like, oh, that's so sad. But,
Well played, though. Good reason. One of the teachers addressing the audience at the high school was a guy who was a graduate from Alameda High School years ago, and then has been the science teacher there for a bunch of years. And this is his final year. So when he was up, he turned the podium around and faced away from the audience toward the students behind him to talk to them, which is kind of appropriate for a commencement. It was neat. That's the future. Some of it looks like it's in decent hands. Smart
Hopefully
kids.
not. Hopefully not.
I think I found our club's theme song.
Okay.
Would
Really?
you like to hear it?
Yes, for sure.
I actually know this song. Oh, did you share your volume, John?
I'm here.
If you stop share for just 1 second.
Stop share, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop share. And then when you hit share screen, there's a little button you got to toggle at the bottom that says share computer sound.
Yeah. I don't want a pickle. Just want to ride on my motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
All right, I'm gonna have to try this again.
So hit share screen.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Before
That's a
you do
new one
anything
for me.
else. Yep. Yep. And that's how you share the sound. And that's the more you know.
Fantastic. There you go.
Just wanna ride my motorcycle, and I don't wanna tickle. I'd rather ride my motorcycle.
Let me know when you're tired of it.
Yeah, he's a young fellow.
I don't wanna die.
Remember, I need time.
Just wanna ride my motorcycle. You know, I've been singing this song for about.
All right, he's in the.
All righty.
We
So-
pay too much of that. We'll probably have to pay a gratuity or whatever it is.
John, is that second verse?
Yeah,
I want to
that's
see
true.
that great big ball of string.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he missed that, which is to his sorrow.
All right. Any other happy bucks to share? Any announcements? Okie dokie. Then I will turn it over to Emilio, who's going to regale us on what we'd all probably should have already known about motorcycle insurance, but we probably can't.
Well, thank you very much for having me tonight. I am going to share my screen here as long as I'm allowed to. Hold on a second here. Ah, there you go. Share. And let me know if you're seeing it.
Yes.
Fantastic. So as you many of know, oh, this is the end. That's not where we need to be. Sorry about that. I should be a lot better at this since I do it all the time. As many of you know, I'm a Rotarian for the past 8 years and also being an all-state agent for the past 8 years. I gotta do a disclaimer because I'm only licensed in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. So if you're not in any of those states, just act like you're in South Carolina today because you're in a Zoom meeting with me today. So with that being said, I know this can be a topic that you may not be familiar with, or you're very familiar with, but you still have questions, and we'll have an opportunity to do that. So, okay. So many people worried about if they have enough coverage to fix or replace their motorcycle. You know, what happens if you get stranded? What happens if your parts are available or not? What happens about the value of your motorcycle? And what happens about the liability? And many other worries that you may never thought of it, such as the diminishing value. When you think about diminishing value, it's like, well, it's brand new, it shouldn't be devaluated. Well, in some instances you will be wrong because it will be devaluated and you can't recoup the diminishing value of your motorcycle. And also about liability, about med pay, and those questions about collision, comprehensive, those questions about what else there is in my policy that I'm not aware of. Like do I have personal injury protection? Do I have the right amounts of liability? That and many questions is what I'm addressing tonight. And I want you to closely think about the policy, think about the things that you have on your personal policy that it can be translated from your auto to your motorcycle, except with certain changes. because when you're in a motorcycle, you know you're not as protected as if you're in a cage. You know, if you're in a cage, you're in an auto, you could be better protected than in a motorcycle. So on those, when you start thinking about those terms, then you can start thinking about the cost of insurance. And sometimes you think it's higher than what it is. Now, what I have here is just an overview of what it can be when it comes to South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia policies in your motorcycle and what Allstate has. Even though I'm familiar with other policies, I only can talk to you about what Allstate has and what they have to offer. But many companies have either follow Allstate or have designed their own packages and their own options that they have. Now, we talk about gold packages, we talk about platinum packages, we talk about standard policies and what each item is going to be covered in your policy. And what triggers some of my questions are when you start adding custom equipment to your motorcycle. A new radio, a new GPS, a new CD, you know, a new crash bar, a new CC bar, a new windshield, fairings, saddlebags, and all those custom items that you may have. Even you may purchase a new emblem, you know, a new Indian emblem, or a new Honda Goldwing, or a new something. You know, I'm partial to Harley, so I would say all those logos that you like to chrome all over your motorcycle. So no matter what brand of motorcycle is, you're going to start adding custom equipment, and that can be pricey no matter what the brand is. If you add the hard saddlebags, the metal ones, those can be very expensive. Well, not all the policies are made equal. So some of them will cover, some of them will not. But you want to know all those things. You want to know about what discounts are available. You want to know what qualifies as a discount and all those things. And now what about the airbags that are made for motorcycles? Is that qualifies as a discount because you'll be wearing one? So, you know, what can you do about it? What can you ask? And also other discounts that you may want to ask is about organizations like a Harley Owners Group or any other organization that gives a discount. Honda Riders Club of America, Motorcycle Safety Foundation, Venture Touring Society. These are just some of the organizations that are offered through Allstate. Not only Allstate, but other companies follow suit, like Progressive and Geico. They give hefty discounts when you belong to an organization. And if you want to know why they do that, is because when you take a road trip, those are planned. So you're not riding solo, then the likelihood to be in an accident diminishes, because now you're planning to ride during certain hours, during a certain formation, and all those things diminish the likelihood that you're gonna get in an accident. So anyway, here in this specific slide, I wanna show you what my motorcycle policy looks like. And this is very personal to me. Now, again, not every state is the same. But for example, here in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, you can get these amounts of coverage, of limits. I have 10 times the limits that are allowed in South Carolina. Normally in South Carolina, the state limits mandated are 25,000, 50,000, 25,000. But you want to know what are those limits, right? So your bodily injury is going to be 25,000 up to 50,000 per incident, 25,000 per person, 50,000 per incident. And guess what I have? I have 250,000 per person and 500,000 per accident. Plus the property damage here is 25,000. Guess what? The maximum that I can have is 100,000. You know, no counting some other things that I have done to protect myself better when it comes to liability. This is just liability if something happened. No counting underinsured motorist, no counting something that I can really utilize like MedPay. So for example, you see there that I don't have motorcycle medical payments, not purchased. Well, I have, happens that I have good health insurance. But if I didn't have good health insurance, I would go and purchase, you know, at least $5,000 of medical insurance, because that is going to pay for my emergency room immediately when you have medical pay. But in my case, because I have a health insurance and I, you know, evaluated the cost benefit of that, I decided not to take it. But not everybody can do that. So you have an opportunity to do that, to take that. And also the new motorcycle expanded protection is something that in the past 5 years has become available for new motorcycles, and in different insurance companies, they do that, where they replace your motorcycle is total within the first 3 years of ownership. But in any case, and when we talk about underinsured motorists is very important, because that is going to pay if a person doesn't have enough to pay you for your injuries. And we have used this for North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And other states are different. However, if you have insurance from South Carolina and you travel to another state, for example, like California, and then you get injured, you can actually utilize your underinsured motorist to cover for your injuries. And in South Carolina, it allows you to stack, meaning use other policies underinsured motorists to come to the aid and pay for your injuries. So that's something to think about it and to keep in mind. And many people as well think about, you know, the uninsured motorist. Well, uninsured motorist is not available or readily available in all the states, but the states that have it normally are for if you get hit by a ghost vehicle, hit and run, or if something happened and you don't know who hit you, then you can use your uninsured motorist as a part of that, which of course I have it to the max limits that we have available in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. And then also we have a collision. Collision usually will cover for the physical damage of your motorcycle. And if you are in an accident or if you collide with something else. Now, we have also comprehensive or other than collision. If, for example, you're going to Michigan and you get in a hailstorm, well, that will be covered if it damages the tank of your motorcycle, for example, or the paint or the fenders or anything else that you have in your motorcycle. That will, or if somebody steals the motorcycle, or if you happen to hit an animal, then you can use your comprehensive or other than collision. And then of course we have transportation expense that we call it. I don't have it and I choose not to have it because I have the Harley Owners membership and they offer that option if your membership, which is a lot more generous than what the policy would be. And also, of course, I have AAA, and AAA offers that option as well. So I did not want it to do it, even though it could be very affordable. However, I did choose to leave the trip interruption insurance. The trip interruption applies when you have an accident or your motorcycle, you're not able to ride your motorcycle due to an accident. That's the only time that applies. Does not apply if you have a mechanical breakdown. And many people get confused about that when they can use their trip interruption insurance. Another feature of additional coverages in our policies in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia are that you can have a beneficiary in if something were to happen and you passed away due to an accident, and it pays a benefit of $15,000 to the immediate family member. Or also, if you happen to to be injured and not able to work, you can also can get a certain amount per week paid by the policy. But again, not all the policies have this feature, which I thought that I was pretty interesting to have it. So anyway, and now here we go to your to the motorcycles that we commonly see on the road. And as you can see, there is a wide range of motorcycles, and everybody would have different opinions of what is custom and what is standard, what comes with the motorcycle, the type of motorcycle that it is, and everything else. As you can see that today I have also my little scooter t-shirt, because I like the old scooters. That's how I learned ride a motorcycle, in one of the old scooters. Getting around town when I was living in Guatemala, we pile up 3 or 4 of us in one scooter, and it was a lot of fun. But anyway, there are so many motorcycles out there on the road, and so many features and so many things that are custom. I'm a partial Harley Davidson, because that's what I had for the past 20 years. I only have rode Harleys, although I can ride just about any motorcycle. And I know, of course, most of the motorcycles. I had a V Road 2008 with about 10,000 miles, and I sold it because it was too much for me. It was way too fast. 5 gears and high ratio on the gears, and I just couldn't do it. So 10,000 miles was it that I sold it off. You can see it right in one of the corners there. And these are the newest models of Harleys and some of the custom paints that you can see. But in any case, that is about what I have to tell you on the motorcycle. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I can tell you somewhat about your state, because I'm familiar with most of the national laws that you have to understand how insurance works in each state, even though it's different. So please, it's open for questions out there. Ask away.
Emilio, I might have missed it, but which insurance company do you represent?
Allstate.
Allstate, thank you.
Allstate. And Allstate motorcycle insurance normally provide OEM parts for most motorcycles when they go for repairs. And there is only very few agents and claim adjusters that are well versed in motorcycles, and happen to be one of them because I ride, and happen to be that I can determine immediately the cost because I'm familiar with it. What's your other question?
Emilio, I bought a bike that was a salvage title, and basically, of course, it was repaired. But if I get into an accident, will I have trouble claiming insurance on a salvaged bike?
That is a very good question. Yes, you will. The diminished value of a salvaged vehicle when you purchase from any type of company or type of dealership, it will diminish to 40 to 60% of the original value. And most insurance companies will not accept motorcycle with salvage title.
So am I foolish for keeping collision insurance and comprehensive insurance?
I wouldn't recommend it to keep it on it. I would rather go and find a clean title motorcycle, because salvage motorcycles, even though the value or the incident that they were on it wasn't as damaging to the integrity of the motorcycle, but just with the fact that it's already salvaged gives a branding to the title, and most insurance companies do not accept that, even though you probably do have it insured right now. But if you were to total it, or if it was to be stolen, you would receive a fraction of what the value the current value is on the motorcycle. So I say no.
Okay.
But Emilio, it wouldn't affect the liability portions or the uninsured, underinsured, those pieces, just the value of the bike?
That is correct, yes. Only liability. Most companies that I have worked on before will accept a motorcycle with a salvage title, but only for liability and uninsured motorists, not with collision or comprehensive or anything else. That was a very good question, Rob.
I asked the question in the chat and I got an answer, but just to verify, if I'm towing my motorcycle with my car on a trailer and I get in an accident, my motorcycle insurance covers the motorcycle or my car insurance?
It depends. The liability is carried by your auto, not your motorcycle, because you're towing it. Now, if the motorcycle falls off and it gets damaged because you were towing in a trailer and it was not properly secure, then your motorcycle comprehensive will cover it. Okay. So it depends on what happens during the collision. You know, if during the collision your motorcycle became loose and damaged other vehicles, then still your auto would pay for that. So it changes.
Okay.
Emilio, I've got 2 Gold Wings right now, and I've got them both covered. I mean, for insurance, I was surprised the cost is the same, you know, for each. So in other words, I'm paying double right now, even though I'm the only licensed driver in my household for motorcycles, and I can only operate one at a time. I'm surprised that I'm double covered. It's double cost. Let's put it that way. Any comments?
Actually, Jerry, your state is very special. Michigan is a not fault state, and they changed the law in 2020. And unfortunately, they have not had enough data to appropriately give you a premium that would reflect you owning 2 motorcycles. And therefore, you're being charged individually as if you were the sole operator of each one of them. So you have been penalized for owning 2 motorcycles in the state of Michigan. Sorry.
Michigan's all kinds of special when it comes to insurance.
Oh yes. So the states that
I worked for farmers. I worked for farmers in Michigan growing up.
Florida, Washington, New Hampshire,
no, I worked, yeah,
and Michigan are very special states. And the states, even Montana does not require for you to have insurance in your motorcycle. Florida does not require to have insurance in your motorcycle. New Hampshire does not require for you to have insurance into your motorcycle. And Florida is another not at fault state, same as Michigan, and it's scary. Other questions?
See, Debbie, another reason to move away from Michigan.
So, what do you do when you're riding in a group and you determine that the motorcycle has a mechanical issue and you're not able to do anything? There is no phone service, there is nothing in there. Usually what I recommend is that you always should carry in your saddlebag or somewhere in your equipment, either a rope or a bungee cord that is going to be allow you for another to hook it up to another motorcycle and tow it. Because that has happened to us. We had to tow a bike to an area where we actually could call roadside and come and get it. But meanwhile, we towed it for about 25 miles with bungee cords, and it worked.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, oh my fairy God, dust. How'd you do that?
Nuts.
Oh, yeah. Scary.
The only thing what I have, you know, what I learned is like the gasoline. I have a special gasoline tank for motorcycles. If you run out of gas, this has happened for us in New Mexico. And so I bought, I think it's 1.5 liter inside, but it will get you to the next
gas station. That's another thing. You should know your motorcycle in and out when you're taking a road trip, and always carry a copy of your insurance card with you, with all the phone numbers and contact information in your saddlebag or in your backpack or somewhere that is going to be ready available. Because if a cop sees you that you're traveling by yourself, I can guarantee you that you're going to be pulled over on that motorcycle. But if you're traveling in a group, it's not likely that they will pull you over. When they see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they will not pull you over. But if you're by yourself, they will.
Even if you're 2 persons, they will not.
2 persons, yes.
Yeah.
That is correct. So.
Not on a Goldwing.
Not in the Goldwing, say. So.
I agree.
I would be so embarrassed to be seen on the side of the road with a Goldwing. I wouldn't pull him over either.
That's correct. So this
Emilio,
is
we're all coming. We're all coming to South Carolina. I know we're all coming to North Carolina. Sorry, in
South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. You're all very welcome to.
Yep. So we're all coming to North Carolina in August. Is there anything special we need to know about coming from out of state and riding in North Carolina?
Depending where you ride in North Carolina, I would stay away from the major cities, you know, like Durham, you know, Charlotte is not bad, but some of the major cities like Durham and Raleigh are pretty notorious for having a lot of wrecks, you know, because there's so many people going through there. So depending on the time of the day, I would, you know, try to stay away from the major freeways if you can. But if not, it's a beautiful place. I mean, if you're coming through the coast or if you're coming through the middle. I like myself travel through the coast of North Carolina, you know, because there are some beautiful areas out there, like a Carolina Beach and Highway 17 going through there. It is just awesome. It's just fantastic.
But nothing we need to know from an insurance standpoint.
Nope.
No.
Insurance is mandatory in North Carolina. And if you don't have it, you'll get about $250 ticket. And there are motorcycle cops only in the major cities, not on the small towns. There are some small towns that are notorious for speed traps, especially going outside of Charlotte and outside of Durham. One of them is High Point, and Chris can correct me here if not, because he's familiar with North Carolina as well. But not in the mountains. If you travel in the mountains or on the coast, they are very friendly people and friendly cops, and not likely they're going to pull you over. Mostly on the outside of the big cities. That's usually how that happens. But in the tourist towns of the mountains and in the coast, no. You will.
Yeah, just the only one that I would say about that is the Blue Ridge Parkway. You do not want to speed on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
There. For any reason, from Shenandoah Parkway all the way to the Blue Ridge Parkway, do not speed because you will get killed. Yes, I forgot that. Thank you, Chris. I know about that. So with that, I was just showing you the video of Mount Rushmore and all the people that we got for last year. And I think we only had that one person with the motorcycle issues, you know, and then we got it fixed. But as far as of insurance, I gave them the talk of insurance before we left, so everybody was prepared to what encounter, and we never got pulled over or nothing. So, any other questions? Anything else for me?
It doesn't look like it. Thank you, Emilio. Appreciate
My
you
pleasure.
presenting.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, let's just stop sharing.
So any good life lessons learned from the group about insurance, either coverages you wish you had or coverages you paid for that maybe you didn't think you needed?
You know, we have a lot of conversation. Actually, a lot of the groups I belong to, both local and nationally, there's always that great debate about insurance. And you know, it really, and Emilio can probably back this up better than anything else. The fact of the matter is, it really depends on where you live. Every state is different. Houston, moving from Minnesota to Houston, my insurance like doubled. It was crazy, outrageous. But Houston is one of the most expensive cities in the country to have insurance in. And when somebody finally looked at me and said, well, you realize 1 out of every 5 drivers here in Houston is driving uninsured. So you definitely want that uninsured coverage. Absolutely, hands down. I agree completely. And if you see some of the cars that people drive in here, and we're talking some serious hoopties, if you know what I mean. Yeah, they're terrible drivers down here. So it adds that fun level when you're riding your motorcycle in that traffic as well.
I learned the hard way, and thank God for USAA because they bailed us out. I have always carried a coordinated insurance plan for my medical benefits, always, where it goes to my medical insurance first and then to the car insurance. Mike was rear-ended by someone who was uninsured and in the country illegal when we lived in Michigan. And that's when I found out that I could not carry a coordinated benefits plan because my company had a fully funded ERISA health insurance plan. So I will warn you that, you know, it's worth looking into if you are carrying a coordinated benefits plan to see if your company is fully funded ERISA for their health benefits, and you may need to change your benefits. USAA did me a huge solid and backdated a change to the day before our accident. So definitely saved us many thousands of dollars.
Yeah, beware of the medical payments because if you're gonna have to shell out of pocket your co-pays or anything else, and if you have mid-paid on your vehicles or your motorcycle, that can cover that part. But South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia does not allow you to double dip if you have health insurance. So that's something to keep in mind, just like Amanda said.
Yeah, I know, Mickey. I was joking. Mickey, you said, you know, we're recording, it's not a secret.
Now, some of the secrets that I know, if you want to have a good insurance premium, is having a good credit. If you have a good credit, if you have a stellar credit, the rates are going to be the most affordable because all insurance companies take in consideration credit. They assign you an insurance score based on your credit, and that's how they determine, along with others, but that's one of the 5 principles that they use in their algorithm to determine how much you're gonna pay each year. When it comes to motorcycle, they added one huge disadvantage to any rider, which is the risk of not having airbags and not being protected in a cage. So that's another thing so to keep in mind. But if you have excellent credit, you know, 750 and above, you're going to get the most benefited on that.
The other thing is when we bought the bikes, you know, we USAA as well, but they don't make motorcycle insurance. So we are, they offered us to go to Progressive, right? And they asked us about the protection we have. And that makes also a difference. If you have the protection clothes on, that makes a lot of difference as well.
And with USAA, it's always a good idea to have an umbrella policy.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
Any other questions for me? Anything else out there that you have experienced through your insurance? You know, if your protective gear gets damaged or gets lost, they need to replace it. You know, through the incident. Helmets, especially helmets, you should not be having a used helmet, you know, because you had an accident. The minute that I hit the pavement, replace it. Don't keep it.
Really good feedback. Something to think about every time. I think when I went through my motorcycle training class, they're like, stop putting your motorcycle on the handlebar or your helmet on the handlebars. Like, why? Ah, okay.
Yeah, they fall. They fall and crack. Simple.
Yeah.
They're not effective any longer once they hit the pavement if you see your handlebar.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Emilio. Definitely appreciate all the information. I will offer to anybody, if you think of anything after the meeting, send Emilio a note, because I'm sure you're gonna be sitting eating dinner tomorrow night and be like, hey, I wonder if. So
correct.
I'm in the spot.
Yeah, and if you need the help, you know, I'll even though I'm not in your state, you know, I can help you. At least offer you to guide you through to any of the complex process that I may be simple to see, but sometimes gets complex with insurance companies.
Thank you, Emilio.
Awesome. Thank you, Emilio.
Emilio, you've ridden in Guatemala, right?
What?
What's the question?
Emilio, you've ridden in Guatemala, right?
Yes.
One question. What's the legal limit for number of passengers on a motorcycle in Guatemala?
How many as you can fit in it.
Before.
I've seen that. I've seen
my favorite thing I've ever seen. Yeah, my favorite thing I've ever seen was 2 motorcycles with a 2x4 between, or a 2x6 between them, and 3 people sitting on the 2x6 between the motorcycles. That was
wow.
I don't remember, but I have some pictures like that.
People and everybody carrying something big.
Probably a goat. Probably a goat. Yeah.
So in Guatemala, you know, that's where I learned how to ride a bike. And let me tell you, there is no insurance requirements for Guatemala. There is, you know, you can have insurance, but your likelihood that you're gonna get an accident in Guatemala on a motorcycle is pretty high. You have to be a really, really good rider, and you have to have really good gear, because people, it just go crazy on those motorcycles. They split lanes, they go between cars, they do all kinds of crazy things on the motorcycle. I seen on the highway, this dad with 2 kids in between, and the mother carrying a newborn on the back, plus carrying a little, like a cart behind them full of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have forgotten about all this, how bad it is, or how, I don't know, nonchalant about risk.
Yeah, that's not good. Hey, before we sign off tonight, does anybody know who Joe Lewis was that popped in for 5 or 6 minutes before he hopped back out? No.
Boxer, right?
What I was just gonna say, Chris, none of my Michigander friends are gonna pop up with a Joe Lewis joke. No, I don't believe that's who it was. I don't think it was. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss an opportunity to welcome somebody. All right, Emilio.
I didn't catch him on attendance, sorry.
It's okay. We don't know who he is. I wouldn't know where to put him anyway. So, all right, thank you, Emilio. Again, I definitely appreciate it. I won't put you on the spot for the 4-way test to end the meeting tonight, because you've done enough speaking. You've done your job.
Thank you.
He hasn't. So, do you mind joining us or leading us in the 4-way test?
Who was that, Amanda?
Mickey.
Mickey.
Me? Is it the, okay, the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And number 5, is it fun?
That'll be fun.
Does it fall within the parameters of your liability insurance on your motorcycle?
So are we still having a BOD meeting afterwards?
I don't think we have enough people. Me, Mickey, Chris, Scott, Rory, and Jerry.
All I need is 5, right?
Uta. We need Uta. Yeah, we've got enough. We do have enough.
Yep. I'm begging you to like see if we could like do it quickly because I have so much stuff to do tonight.
See you all later then. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Emilio.
Thanks, Emilio.
Because we all